Today we're talking about tuning your guitar. One of the most important things you have to do each time you pick up a guitar is make absolutely sure it's in tune. If one of your strings or more than one of your strings are out of tune, it won't sound good. The chords will sound bad, and it just won't make sense in the music as you play along if one of your strings is out of tune. So there are a number of ways you can tune your guitar, and they are discussed on page 11 in our books. Today I want to look at the first one, the one that's the most common one, which is tuning with an electronic tuner. If you're fortunate, you might be able to have a guitar that has a tuner built in. This guitar has one right integral to the electronics. When I play a string, it lights up green and it tells you the letter, in this case it's the E string, that's in tune. Now if it was flat, the red light will come on that indicates that you have to turn the tuner until you see the correct letter for that string. In this case it's an E. And there it is. If it was sharp, the red light on the right or the left, it depends on how high it is, will come on. You either loosen the string or you tighten the string by turning these, the tuning keys or the tuners, until the green light comes on. Now, if you're not in the market for a new guitar that has a tuner built right in, don't worry, you can probably get one for free. If you happen to have an iPhone or an Android phone, this application is called G-Strings. There's hundreds of different guitar tuning applications out there. When you play the string, it'll tell you the correct letter and it'll light up on this one. And the two little arrows tell me it's perfectly in tune. So there are applications that you can tune your guitar with for your iTouch or for an Android type phone, probably for other phones too. Those are the only two that I've looked for. But don't worry, if you don't have an expensive phone or a touch phone, there are lots of these tuners around. This is a little bit like the one that's shown on page 11. Both of these are electronic tuners. They do the very same thing. In fact, if you have an electric guitar, an electric bass, it would probably be better for you to get one of these tuners that you can plug in your cable for your instrument directly into the tuner, and you'll be able to see exactly what the pitch is. It'll remove any noise from the room that you're in where you're trying to tune. In guitar class, we have an assortment of tuners that we'll be using, like this one. This one actually clamps on to the headstock. Seems to work best right in the middle of the headstock. And each one of them is a little different. This one lights up in different colors. Let's see, I better put it here where you can see it. Blue indicates it's exactly in tune. It also tells me the letter. Red means it's not in tune. Blue means it's in tune. This has a mode specifically to tune the guitar with the number of the strings. You remember strings are counted from the littlest to the biggest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that says number 1. Not sure how clear that is for you. And we have to get number 1 to turn blue. And that means that string is in tune. That says number 2, and number 2 is blue, so it's in tune. Number 3 is on the left, that means it's flat. The little arrow needs to be straight up to the number, and it should turn blue when it hits the correct pitch. As you can tell, tuning takes a little patience. Sometimes the tuner doesn't register very fast. There we go. So that's how you can tune with an inexpensive tuner. These cost around $20 at the local music stores, or less, somewhere in the neighborhood of $20. and it clips onto an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, or a bass. Be careful before you buy one though. Take your actual instrument into the music store, try it out with the tuner, because with some instruments I found the clip-on tuners don't always pick up very well. So those are the primary tuners. Now we need to figure out what notes we're tuning to, because with most tuners you still need to know the note letter for the string that you're tuning. If we look at the guitar in this position and we start with the biggest string and go down to the smallest string, that's the way that they're hooked up on the classical guitar. Biggest string here, smallest string here. Then let's think in terms of the letters of each string. The biggest string is E, the next biggest string is A, then D, then G, then B, and finally E. Let me encourage you to think of some phrase that uses those 6 letters. It can be a crazy, funny phrase to make it easy for you to remember. One of them that students have taught me is, every alligator does good by eating. E, A, D, G, B, E. You might think of your own phrase that would be more memorable for you, but you need to find a way to remember these 6 letters that represent the 6 strings on the guitar, so that when you're tuning you'll be clear about what string you're tuning and not break a string. It's also frustrating to try to tune if you don't know what note to tune to, because you could be tuning a string to the wrong note. And it would be in pitch, it would be correct for the tuner, but it would be the wrong note for the string. The other things on page 11 explain where those notes are on a piano keyboard. And so if you have a piano at home, you could tune your guitar by listening to that note on the keyboard and then tuning your guitar to the same pitch. At the bottom of the page it describes how you can tune your guitar using the 5th fret method. You remember I said we start counting the frets from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you tune your guitar to the 5th fret method, it means if you play the 5th fret on the E string number 6, it should be the same pitch as the A string. Those should sound the same if they're in tune. If not, you can change them and tune them up. If you play the A string on the 5th fret, it should be the same pitch as the D string. Sounds good. If you play the D string on the 5th fret, it should be the same note as the G string. Now this is the one exception to the 5th fret method. On the G string you play the 4th fret to get the note B for the B string. And back up to the 5th fret on the B string to get the note for the E string.